Good evening, everybody. And welcome to another Rev Talk. I think today we're going to go to the second subject that we've talked about last week, and that's duality, the positive and the negative. What does that mean for you, and how can you express it? We haven't delved into what Dolores Cannon has been saying, but we're going to go with our intuition, see what it brings forth, and see if you can gain anything out why we chose the negative and the positive side of something. Take it away, Reverend Kim.
You did it again.
I
Okay.
always do.
I know. It's that definition of insanity,
It to change. No,
expecting it to
insanity is
change,
when you
doing
expect
it
it
over and over
trying
again,
to,
expecting a different result,
exactly.
expecting a different result. And so
Uh-huh.
so yes, the second portion of the Dolores Cannon video is called Embracing Duality, the positive and the negative. Now, yes, I will admit I did not listen to it. What I'm getting from that, as far as the key for me, the key words are embracing duality. So we chose to come here at this time, all of us, and there are some still scratching their head to say, what was I thinking? I'm one of them. But the embracing the duality. So again, on this realm, on this planet, on planet Earth, and why we came here is there is this duality of positive and negative. We chose to come here to experience that duality. We cannot live our life just in the positive, because that puts everything out of balance, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Again and again, if you embrace only the negative, how crappy does your life feel? I'm just thinking to myself that, honestly, there are those people, and you've met them, I'm sure, those people who are just not happy people. They've always got something negative to say, something cynical, something, and it's very difficult to be around that kind of a person, which also kind of starts to bring you down as well if you let it. Switching it around in your mind to say, okay, I'm embracing the duality of this situation. This person is viewing it as negative. I can see where that might happen. I'm going to also look for the positive. There is always two sides to a coin. It's the same thing with situations. There's always two sides of it. Doesn't mean you have to sit there with rose-colored glasses and saying, and everything is peachy, everything's wonderful. If it's not, ignoring the negativity, ignoring the dark portions doesn't benefit you either. You're not learning then. Embracing the duality of any situation is being able to look at both of them in a detached form, in a detached kind of way, and viewing it. You don't have to feel into it if you don't want to. Like, well, why am I feeling, why am I not feeling sad about something when everybody else is? Is there something wrong with me? No. You're viewing it in a different way, in your own unique way, which is one of the reasons why you're here. Because your unique perspective continues to add to that universal tapestry.
It makes so much sense because what just popped in my mind, when someone in my family dies, everybody's sobbing and just I don't know what's happening, but just crying and crying and sobbing. I understand the 5 stages of grief, but I look at it differently. They're on to their next stage of their journey. They have surpassed and learned everything they came on the physical plane to learn. I don't look at it as a negative. And that's the difference duality between positive and negative. Any situation, and that's what we are trying to train ourselves to do, is when something horrific happens, to see what's good over it. And that's in life. And she mentioned, I have a neighbor just never says anything negative. If you say something negative, like, oh, my mother-in-law is giving me a hard time, it just goes beyond her. She doesn't accept it and she goes on to something else. And that's what we need. We need more positivity because there is so much negative in this world right now. And with all that's going on, everybody is just complaining, moaning, it's this fault, it's that fault. Oh, the war is going to be the end of the world. No, 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 no. Let's see what good outcome is this all about. Let's look beyond that. As you stated earlier, we don't know what the divine plan is. We don't know the whole picture. We're just here to absorb it, learn from it, and move on. And that's why we're raising our vibration, is because we're doing that instead of sucking down and taking everything in and getting involved in and finding the negativity and not looking for the positive. And this is why we're here. We're light workers to shine our light so people will see there's an alternative way to view or look at things.
Well, here's the other thing that you had said, that with death and, someone dying and people are crying and you're not, what, I believe most people, the reason why we cry when someone passes, we're crying for ourselves.
The physical.
We're crying for ourselves because they're not going to be here and we're still here. And there's that initial, like, you've spent years and years with somebody, or they've had an impact on your life. And yes, you know what? You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to express yourself. It's a human thing. So another reason why we're here, to express that. It's when you allow yourself to just stay on one side of the pendulum, only thinking only positive thoughts. And there's a whole wonderful thing about, oh, let's all stay positive. And that's a good thing. However, you also need to acknowledge the other side of that coin. You need to say, okay, yes, this could be crappy. It's how you perceive it and how you react to it or not react to it that allows you to raise your vibration. You can view the negative and say, okay, yeah, you know what? That is crappy. That is. And still not let it affect you and say, and okay, let's check and see where the good thing came from this, or where the positive thing came from this, rather than just grabbing a hold of the negative and saying, life sucks. Yeah. This is just blows. It's whatever. Instead of going down that rabbit hole, which is very easy to do. You can let things overwhelm you, and there's a lot going on that you can allow yourself to be overwhelmed by.
What it made me think of right there, sorry about it interrupting, was okay, the flooding, the hurricanes, but that's immaterial. It's, my mind is saying the water. You're seeing all the horrific things that are happening, but nobody's realizing all that water is replenishing what we have used as humans and abused and taken it for granted. And it's just nature's way of bringing us back full circle. So there is a negative, the flooding, there is a positive. And it's the earth is being replenished. And we live on planet Earth. We don't just live in the United States. We live on planet Earth. And this hurricane season goes around the world. It doesn't go around just the United States. And that, to me, just, it's terrible what's happening, but then think what it's saving. It's saving humanity.
It's interesting. That is interesting. I like that. I do.
Raphael told me that.
Good. I'm glad you listened to him. It is again, it's a very delicate conversation and a very delicate subject to have when we are bombarded by the news and the media of the horrors. And I'm not saying they're not. It is devastating to people losing everything,
That's true.
everything. You know, they have nothing left. Okay. You know, maybe this whole purging could have been done in a different way. And maybe the purging just had to happen this way. I don't know. Again, I don't have all the answers. I don't know the big picture. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to be me, who I am, shining my light as best I can. And that, folks, is pretty much enough for everybody. Shining your own light to the best of your ability is your task, and it can be daunting. Instead of looking at somebody else and like, well, what are they? You know, there's a duality there as well. You ignore shining your light and you're looking and comparing yourself to somebody else or looking over here and what are they doing? Let that go. You're here to shine your light to your best ability. So do your best.
Yeah.
You know, that and again, that should be a big enough task for you. Go through all that. It's easy to get distracted and say, oh, I'll look at somebody else because it's easier than focusing on me.
On me. But that was the answer right there.
But that's why
That
we're
was
here.
the duality, but
And
that's
we
your purpose.
chose to embrace that duality. This is what we must do, is to embrace the duality. The balance, you know,
I
positive and
agree.
negative.
Perfect.
So there it is, folks.
Yeah.
So how are you doing?
I am complete. That
All
ended it
right.
perfectly.
Awesome. So with that, my friends, we want to thank you for joining us on another Rev Talk. And we want to remind you to be gentle with yourself and to be kind to yourself and to remember that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends, be well.
Well.